Time to talk some Dallas Cowboys football, and as always, we bring in Mickey Spagnola. And Mickey, last week of the regular season, the Cowboys playing the Eagles. What do you expect to see? Do you think that they're going to use a lot of their starters, or do you think they'll keep some of those guys out? Even though seeding is important right now, and I know this game is about seeding.
Yeah, I think the guys that are available from injury or reserve COVID, not on having problems with that, I think they'll start off playing it. I think everything I've seen so far this week is their intent is to go up there and win the game. Now, it'll be interesting to see how the game pans out. The Eagles obviously have a dozen guys that at the beginning of the week were listed on reserve COVID. Now, they have a chance to get back by Saturday night since that came out on Monday. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it. I don't know if that'll affect how the Cowboys do, but maybe you get into the second half, somewhere in the third quarter, you go, okay, this is enough. We've made our point. Let's pull these guys out, make sure everybody's thoroughly rested for the first round of the playoffs.
And, you know, Micah Parsons not being available, I guess he's not available because of COVID, right? Is that, I know there was a rash of guys not available, but him, you know, that stood out really big time to me.
Yeah, they won't have Micah Parsons, and it looks like now they'll be without Anthony Brown and Tyron Smith. And then just today, from the practice report, they put down Trayvon Diggs and Donovan Wilson with an illness and listed them as questionable. Well, the last time I saw them list a guy with an illness, it turned into COVID. So we'll see where that one goes on tomorrow when they have their last workout before they fly out to Philadelphia for Saturday night's game.
And I guess one of the silver linings to all of this, you got this COVID stuff going around and all, the mess that it brings. But Blake Jarwin, is a guy who's been trying to get back out on the field. Is he going to be available now? It sounds like he was going to be available.
Well, it looks like maybe for the playoff game, because of, the shortened practice this week, and he was coming back from COVID on injured reserve. He lost a week of practice. So I think the way Mike McCarthy put it is they're hopeful that he can get into practice next week, and then they can determine if he's ready to go for the first round game. That certainly would help their two tight end sets, because right now, even though they go two tight ends, I think the defenses basically know that, the only guy that's in jeopardy of going out for a pass usually is Dalton Schultz. So the other guy, they know he's probably out there blocking. So, yeah, to have two guys with the threat down the field would help their two tight end sets.
I noticed that they were saying that Jalen Hurts limited practices because of his ankle. Do you expect to see him out there a lot for the Eagles, or do you think that they would – because, with the playoffs coming up, don't you think they would try to have him sitting back?
Well, they listed him as fully practicing today, and they took him off the injury report. So if they decide to sit him, I think that's one thing. But it doesn't look like they would sit him because of an injury, because if he had the injury, they wouldn't have listed him as fully practicing today.
And as far as going into the playoffs, how do you like how the Cowboys are playing? I know the last game was a loss, but how do you like how they're playing as they head into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they need to create some momentum. I think, Van, the last thing you want is to go in the playoffs on a two-game losing streak. So I think this is a good game to try to create some continuity on the offense, especially in the running game. I was going to say on the offensive line, but they won't have Tyron Smith, so that doesn't help out matters. But again, I just think you want to go into the playoffs feeling good about yourself, feeling confident, and not have the taste of that last loss lingering when you got to go to play the winner or else type games. And
of course, you're picking your guys, right? The Cowboys pull this thing out, and they do it in a big fashion as they head to the playoffs. Is that what's on the Mickey forecast?
Well, I don't know about a big fashion. How about just winning the game? I think that would 24-23, that's fine. Just win the game, because you know what, Van, when you get into the playoffs, It doesn't matter how big the win is or how small the win is, as long as it's a win. And then you go forward. And you could see last week, right? There were a bunch of teams that were in place for the seeding and even the NFC West title. And boy, they all had to come from behind to try to win, and they did. And that was the difference between what they did and what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys were trying to come from behind, and they didn't quite get there.
All right, hey, thanks, Mickey, always for your time. It's a pleasure. We'll see you next time, and enjoy the game.
Okay, thanks a lot, Van.
All right, he's Mickey Spagnola of Van Tate. We'll see you next time.